Welcome into Valley News Now. I'm Devin Fry. We're waiting on another press conference from the Fargo Police Department. Of course, we had numerous press conferences last week, I should say, about the incidents that Fargo Police have been investigating, and that's what we're supposed to be getting updates on today. We're going to go ahead and take a live look now. We're obviously waiting for the formal press conference to start doing mic checks and checking video feeds and things like that right now. We will take you live to this as it becomes available, but as it comes to the incidents that are in question in this press conference, which is set to start at 11:30. Obviously, the biggest one is the fatal shooting that happened in downtown Fargo last Sunday. Now, that was in conjunction with another shooting that happened in South Fargo that same day. An arrest was made in that South Fargo shooting, but of course, the one of the suspects is still on the run for that fatal shooting in downtown Fargo. Tyreek Jones, last we heard police were still looking out for him. They did tell us that all regional agencies are on the lookout for him, and so we're hoping to hear some more information on whether or not Tyreek Jones's whereabouts are known at this point as they continue to investigate that fatal shooting. There was another incident that happened over the weekend as well. Fargo police say they were called to a shooting in the area of 10th Street North and 6th Avenue North just after midnight on Saturday morning. Police say when they got to the area, they found a man with a gunshot wound. He is in critical condition last we heard there. Police say an early investigation indicated that the man and the victim were involved in a physical fight before the shooting happened. Police say the suspect left the scene before officers got there, so that's another person they're looking for now. A description of the suspect was released, police describing them as a scruffy-looking white male wearing a red shirt. That's a direct quote there. If you have any information on this shooting, you're asked to call the Fargo Police Department. You can also leave an anonymous tip with FPD. So multiple things that they're investigating now. Some violent incidences, multiple shootings. There was a stabbing incident as well that happened in Fargo. That was an arrest made this morning there. So not quite sure what updates we're going to be getting on these cases in this upcoming press conference, as they appear to be working out some technical issues there on the microphone. We'll go ahead and you guys could just talk to me for a little bit as we await this press conference to start. Again, it was supposed to start at 11:30. Obviously, a little bit of a delay now. We'll take you live out to the press conference as soon as Chief Dave Zabulski takes the podium there. Now, obviously, the main factor that's going to be on a lot of people's minds is what appears to be an ongoing hunt for the suspect in last Sunday's shooting. That was Tyreek Jones. Now, last we heard, they still hadn't made any arrests at that point, and that's the last information we've gotten. So we'll see if we're able to get an update on that shooting incident from last weekend, as well as maybe some whereabouts for Tyreek Jones. But again, multiple things for FPD to talk about. We're going to go ahead and talk about what happened this weekend again, in case you're just joining us. Of course, there was the violent assault that happened last Sunday, as well as the shooting downtown and the shooting in South Fargo last Sunday as well. And then this weekend, another shooting. This is in the area of 10th Street North and 6th Avenue North. That was on very early hours of Saturday morning. Oh, there we go. We have a live feed. We're going to go and take.
Morning, everyone. I don't think this is it. No, it is, I guess. Morning, everyone. Welcome. A couple of things I just want to say before we get into updates. To put things into perspective, in 2025, we had a really good year in terms of crime and public safety. But we acknowledge that we have had a couple of bad weekends here. These couple of weekends have kind of been an anomaly compared to the rest of the year. Across all levels, we go every day, serve our community, and work diligently to clear these crimes. One thing we heard last week from the public through you and the media, to keep all of you informed in a more frequent and sooner fashion. You saw that response firsthand this past Saturday when we did at 9 a.m. to provide updates to the media and the community about a shooting that happened in the 900 block of 6th Avenue North. So I just want to recognize and acknowledge what was learned from that contact last week, and also demonstrate that we've put action into play already in terms of that. And today is a furtherance of that process as well. This morning, we've got several updates on a number of violent crime incidents from the past couple of weeks that Lieutenant Nate Neiman will be providing you. Afterwards, if you have questions, we're happy to stand for those related to the cases that were presented. And I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Neiman.
Good morning. On Friday, August 1st, the Fargo Police Department responded to a bank robbery at Wells Fargo downtown. Through investigative leads, the suspect, Jay Barker, was taken into custody within hours. We are working closely with the FBI on this case, and we can't release any further details at this time. On the murder of Azine Holmes from the 50 block of Broadway, we are still looking for Tyreek Jones. If anyone has any information regarding him or his whereabouts, please contact the Fargo PD at 701-241-5777. Anonymous tips can be submitted by texting the keyword Fargo PD and the tip to 847-411. On the Elijah Hughes murder from 4702 16th Avenue South, Ciandre Douglas was arrested for murder. All of the cases we talked about last week have been referred to the State's Attorney's Office for formal charging. Update to the assault from the 300 block of Broadway, which also took place on August 3rd. Through investigative leads, detectives and investigators were able to identify the suspect as Tobias Jamal Walker, age 19, with no permanent address. Yesterday evening, with the assistance of Metro Street Crimes and the Moorhead Police Department, we were able to locate and arrest Walker in Moorhead, Minnesota. Walker is currently in custody at the Clay County Jail. This case is being referred to the Cass County State's Attorney's Office for formal charging and extradition. The victim's condition in that case remains critical at a local hospital. On the shooting from 6th Avenue North from Friday, we are still attempting to locate the suspect. He's described as a scruffy-looking white male with blonde hair, wearing a red shirt and blue jeans, in his 20s. Anyone with information regarding the suspect or his whereabouts is encouraged to contact the Fargo PD at 241-5777. Anonymous tips can be submitted by texting the keyword Fargo PD and the tips to 847-411. On the stabbing from last night at 12:41 a.m. on Monday, August 11th, Fargo PD officers responded to the report of a stabbing in the 1300 block of 32nd Street South. Upon arrival, officers located an adult male who reported that he had been stabbed in an apartment. The male was transported by ambulance to a local medical facility and was treated for injuries which were non-life-threatening. Through investigation, officers determined that the suspect, who was known to the victim, had fled into another apartment down the hall in the same building. Officers repeatedly ordered the suspect to exit the apartment, but the suspect would not comply. The Red River Valley SWAT team was requested to safely apprehend the suspect. At 5:15 a.m., the Red River Valley SWAT team deployed an FSTD and utilized a RAM to enter the apartment and assist the FPD in executing the arrest warrant for the suspect identified as Boehm Don. Don, a 33-year-old Fargo resident, was arrested without incident. He was booked into the Cass County Jail for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, preventing arrest, as well as outstanding warrants, including aggravated assault out of Hennepin County. At this time, I can answer any questions on these cases.
Thank you. Two questions. Let's start with this Saturday morning shooting. Any idea yet, are you releasing the victim's name yet, and can you provide an update on his condition, please?
He is stable at a local hospital, but we're not releasing his name.
Okay. And the other question that I have here, I just want to make sure I record it properly. I've heard from Tyreek Jones's mother. She tells me, quote, has expressed willingness to turn himself in peacefully, but only if he is guaranteed fair treatment and safety. What's going to be your message if Tyreek sees this?
We would encourage him to cooperate with law enforcement, and we are following up with all leads at this time.
Lieutenant, just one that you were talking about, you just mentioned, Tobias Walker was arrested. Where's the other suspect in that assault? Do we have an idea?
We do, and we're following up with leads.
This question may be best for the chief, just regarding you brought up anomaly, what we've seen over the past week. You know, you pointed to the numbers last week about number of shootings and homicides so far this year. The public still has public safety concerns from the perspective, this is a rash of violence and all it takes is one bullet to miss someone and it hits some victim. How do you, what's your message to the public in that aspect that they're concerned, they don't feel safe because of all the other bad actors?
Yeah, no, totally understandable. And for those that don't feel safe, our message is, again, we're looking for the community's help to find Tyreek. I appreciate that you talked to his mother, and I appreciate the concerns that she passes along, but most certainly the best thing for Tyreek Jones to do is to turn himself into the police department here. Nothing bad will happen to him. We will make sure that his safety is taken care of, and we'll go through the criminal justice process. So the sooner he does that, and maybe he's got information that he wants to tell us, we'd be happy to listen to that as well. We can progress that case through and move it towards fruition. So I think there's that. There's the assistance that we got on the assault case that led to the arrest Lieutenant Neiman talked about. So we're getting a lot of cooperation from our community. The city overall has enjoyed a lot of safety. That doesn't mean there's no crime. There's no perfection, in terms of crime. Our folks are out there every day diligently doing everything they can to prevent crime, respond to crime. Even if you look at some of the things we've done over the past several years, technology has been a huge one. That bank robbery suspect, which I think he was in custody within under 2 hours, closer to an hour and a half, was largely due to the technology that we've got and that we used in place immediately when the call came over. We have people on this in the real-time crime center as well as responding on the ground, and then communications on really shoring up those pieces and locating this individual and arresting him. Many of these other cases benefit from that very same technology, but sometimes we don't have all of the pieces, and we look for the community to step up and help us out. That's a big piece. It's a team effort in terms of public safety. Sure. Well, for one thing, I guess, and here's another positive note, we had a number of events this weekend. We've had, last week, our additional saturation patrols down there through bar closing and real-time crime center oversight. We had some assistance from Cass County as well with those efforts, and we appreciate that partnership. Our downtown corridor this past weekend was very orderly compared to the prior weekend. The shooting that occurred, of course, wasn't in that downtown corridor. It was just another crime that came up and drew our attention. The events over the weekend, the Red River Farmers Market and the Pride events, both Saturday and Sunday, both very well attended. No issues of significance at all. If you go back a couple weeks, street fair, we had the highest attended street fair in city history and virtually no significant incidents whatsoever. So again, I think if we take all of those things into context, we have a lot of very positive public safety things going on in our city, not city as a whole, but in that downtown corridor. Things happen, our ability to respond and our expertise that our team does in terms of getting on this quickly, a sense of urgency. If I go back 4 or 5 years when I first started here, we were always calling people in the middle of the night. Some of these we would. Sorry about that. But some would not. And one of the things that we brought forward is a sense of urgency about addressing crime in our community, which means we got to get on it right away. It can't wait till Monday for us to start to do follow-up, process crime scenes, et cetera. There's been a big change in terms of that, and our folks have stepped up to that challenge, so I really appreciate that. I that community knowing that should give them some comfort that we're doing everything we can.
Chief, what exactly is proving difficult to catch Tyree Jones? Are there any possible charges coming for people who may be helping him to hide, anything like that?
Sure. I mentioned this last week, and this still stands, that anyone and everyone involved from these initial feuds and any related crimes, but also that would aid or abet Tyreek Jones and or others involved from being apprehended, would most certainly be referred through the criminal justice system. Whether or not he's getting assistance, hard to say. We've got our federal partners working on this as well. They have a real good track record, and I'm sure it's just a matter of time before he is located and arrested. We want that to be a peaceful arrest. Again, the best thing we can do to ensure that is to come turn himself in, and then we would end that, and those concerns would be negated.
Chief, I just want to ask, we've seen crimes these past few weekends, and as you mentioned, that one of the dominant is Terry Jones, who has been known for violence, and in this past thing that we released, that he was on unsupervised probation, and there is another person that was arrested just recently who was on an outstanding warrant. What do you think is the issue right now with these crimes? Is there like issue with people who are out there on outstanding warrants, or is it on like an issue with unsupervised probation and with a history of violence, or just don't know?
Well, I would say that based on what we're seeing, a combination of all of the above, and if you think back a few weeks ago when we were discussing the officer's assault on Mr. Manitowoc, and the fact that he was out of prison on unsupervised release. And so I think what we've done since that, and I want to credit Director Colby Brown at the DOCR, because we reached out to him and had a discussion about notification for people who are released into our community on unsupervised release. And so that process is being worked on now with DOCR, so we appreciate their cooperation and partnership on that, because in a lot of those instances, as you mentioned, if they're not supervised and released, we probably don't know they're even here, and we don't pay any attention. Now, some folks are going to come back and reintegrate fine, but some of them will not. Some of them will return to the criminal conduct that landed them there in the first place.
So just a couple of quick questions. Other than the two shootings from last weekend on Sunday, all these other ones are unrelated, correct? Or don't
The-
you know that yet?
When you say the aggravated assault, that is unrelated to the shooting homicide. The stabbing is unrelated. That's a internal department. I believe it's resident to resident, but I'll Lieutenant Neiman comment on that. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
It's are you talking about unrelated to the shootings?
Yeah, the two shootings that happened on that Sunday.
Correct. You are correct in that.
And then also, why are we not releasing the names of the victims in the stabbing? As far as the victim goes, the one that's in critical condition? Oh wait, sorry, sorry. Why are we not releasing the name of the Saturday shooting of the victim?
We usually don't release the names of the victims.
Okay. As far as Elijah Holmes goes, does he live, or did he live at Westwood Apartments?
Elijah Holmes,
Yeah. Or sorry, Elijah Hughes. Sorry.
Elijah Hughes.
Yeah.
I can get back to you on that one. I don't know his exact residency at this time.
Okay.
I was just going to shoot, Chief. I don't like many comments these past 7 days, 8 days, quite a few days for the Fargo Police Department. Moving forward, even for this week, how do you guarantee the safety of the people in Fargo, whether it's downtown, whether it's just in their neighborhood? Moving forward, what is the plan to hopefully ensure that everything that we're talking about today doesn't happen?
Well, what I can guarantee is that you've got over 200 people that work in this department that are committed to keeping our community safe and do so diligently every day. I don't have any question about their their commitment, their diligence, their competency. They are showing themselves in the updates that we've given to you today in really a very short amount of time, how these cases are coming to fruition, which is outstanding. And I can tell you that you don't see that in every police agency across the country. Some are better than others, and we have a very good department here and really good at that. So our guarantee is that we'll be out there. We'll try our best to proactively intervene in incidents before they happen. We'll also be responding to incidents that do happen and do our very best to get those cleared up as quickly as possible so that we can bring justice to the victims and their families. And I think that's the very best that we can guarantee.
Two questions here. One kind of both clean up. I don't know if you want to answer them. Mr. Douglas' name, we've heard two pronunciations. He's a frequent flyer of Fargo PD. Do you know how to pronounce his first name? Is it Ciandre or Caandre? Or don't you know?
We've, Ciandre is how we've been pronouncing it.
Okay. And then my second question is, Mr. Douglas appeared in court on Friday on a host of charges, more than a dozen, or maybe it was a dozen. Does that mean, do you feel that all three of the shootings he was alleged to have been a part of are all connected to this ongoing feud, from the shots fired downtown, the man being shot at the Park Place Apartments, to the events at the Westwood Estates on Sunday? Do you think, since they're all being lumped together as apparently one event, is this all part of that ongoing feud you've referred to?
I'm not going to comment on that at this time. It's still under investigation.
Chief, concerning the guns in the city of Fargo, are you instructing your officers about more for telltale signs of gun possession, gun carrying, especially when it comes to illegal guns?
Yeah.
Is there more of a concentrated effort now and attention to that?
There has been, even prior to these things, Ken. A lot of our folks have even attended additional training in identifying people who are carrying concealed weapons. There's courses on that police agencies take. But even preceding the events of last weekend, we've made several gun arrests in the downtown area just by those types of surveillance measures, identifying people, and also knowing who some of those folks are. Another really strong competency in our department is that our folks on the ground recognize a lot of these people who have been bad actors previously, or maybe they got out of jail and now they're walking around. They can see that they might be carrying. So that's led to some proactive arrests from those initial downtown saturations. So yes, long answer, but yes.
Have the conversations about getting information out faster to the public, or at least holding press conference, have been like, and then also Grand Forks, Moorhead, Bismarck, they have lieutenants or captains who are their spokespeople. Has there been any thought about going back to that model that Fargo had about 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, absolutely. And so if you recall, and it's back a little bit, but for a long time people wanted to hear from me. When I was in Milwaukee, for instance, we had our lieutenants and captains providing daily press briefs, informal press briefs. Obviously, there was a lot more crime to talk about. And I think, Don, you might remember that conversation that we had over lunch way back when. And I said, look, if you want to come in every day and sit down informally with our investigations commander, we'll do that. Well, I think you came back and said, you know what, there's not that many instances for us to do that every day, et cetera. But certainly that's always on the table. We don't have to have a formal press conference to update the media on some of these crimes, but we don't have the volume, which is a nice problem. As I said, this week, since last week, we had a bunch of discussions at the executive team level, myself and assistant chief and our captains. Lieutenant Neven was involved in that discussion as well, about how we could expedite this, and absolutely getting a lieutenant, which is another key piece to our budget proposal and personnel. We're adding 3 lieutenants next year because we don't have a lieutenant on duty 24/7, which is an absolute necessity for a department of our size. We need someone in that shift commander role so that sergeants can be on the street, that everyone can do their job, and that lieutenant can handle, general information, which I think actually happens now. I know that they take some calls and they provide general info, working in tandem with the comms team. But even things of this nature, you saw this weekend, Lieutenant Neiman did a great job, right? So that's absolutely easy to do. I think it's sometimes I feel there's maybe confusion about who like hear from. So, I have no issue with that whatsoever.
A comment on that, Chief. Great question, because basically we're to look at our policy on communication and how we do that. I'd love you to give me any advice as other places, how they do it, what happens. I know Don's here in the crowd. He used to get the guy in the middle of the night, get a guy, and he'd give a report. So we'd like, I think Saturday worked. 9 o'clock, you guys had a press conference. We gave it as quick as we could get it out there. I hope we quit having this horrendous week of another thing happening. But if we have to have press conferences daily, we'll do that. I do want to look, and I'd welcome the press to just give us advice as what you think would be reasonable to help you out, to get the news out. I think the important part we missed is the public wants to know they're safe. I hear that question over and over. And we're a big metropolitan area. Things are happening. A lot of stuff we heard this weekend is people who knew each other. It wasn't random strangers. So people have to know that. And the second thing, we're a bigger department. We have over 200 people that are working in the police department. So I think it's great what's been happening as far as we're apprehending people, we're getting people, we're doing the things we need to do. But on that policy, I'm rewriting the policy right now with the chief and communications to have a policy that works for the press. So thank you.
All good? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Police on the latest string of incidents that we've had. Some updates on a lot of things. Some stuff we already knew, and I do want to mention we are aware that there was a sound issue. There wasn't a whole lot we could do about it while the press conference was streaming live, but thank you all for pointing that out. We will obviously hope to have that fixed moving forward. We haven't had that issue in any other live streams of this press conference, but sometimes these things just happen. So, big takeaway from this press conference today, the biggest update is a suspect in the downtown assault that happened that same day as the fatal shooting in the downtown area, just a few blocks away. There has been an arrest made in that, and we already have the mugshot for the suspect in that case. We will pull that up for you right now. Let me find the right thing here. There he is. The suspect arrested in the downtown assault is Tobias Walker, 19 years old, a homeless man arrested in Moorhead in relation to this. He is in custody at Clay County Jail. The victim in that assault, which if you remember correctly, Chief Zabowski told us last week that the victim suffered a massive gash on his head. They said that he's still in critical condition. Now, as far as the other cases that they're working on, suspects still on the run from the Saturday shooting, again described as a scruffy-looking white man. Last night's stabbing, there was an arrest made. A Wells Fargo bank robbery, the arrest was made there. You can find information from all of those on our website right now, valleynewslive.com. We have that information as it's been made available posted. The big thing as well, Tyreek Jones still on the run for that fatal shooting in downtown Fargo. Chief Dave Zabowski did just tell us that federal partners with the agency are on the case as well. So Tyreek Jones still on the run. An arrest made in that downtown assault, though. That's probably the newest information that we got from this press conference. It is important to note, when they sent out the suspect information, there were two pictures with two people on there, but right now an arrest has been made of one person in that assault. Tobias Walker, again, arrested in Moorhead, in custody now at Clay County Jail. We're going to have all the info as it becomes available for you on our website, on TV, on the Valley News Live app, which, by the way, the noon show is about to get started, so go watch that. We'll see you next time. For right now,